I have a minor oil leak. This is a 2000 Camry. This is really nothing in the front, but you can see it's seeping a little bit. But on the back, behind, it's really hard to see, but if you look down in here with a flashlight, you can see the oil coming out behind here. I might even be able to get some there. There's an example of it's just coming out right at the bottom. The first step is I'm going to loosen this bolt a little bit just to get it out of the way. Yeah, I think that's far enough. I just want some clearance. Now the spark plug wires, they're in order here, so as long as you leave them in this clip, and the lengths are pretty obvious where they go. It's dry, that's good. That one's wet, leaking. The rubber protectors came off, it's still down in there, and there's all this oil. While I'm doing this job, I'm going to replace the PCV valve. Here's the new one. It's that piece. And there's a rubber grommet that sits in here that seals the PCV valve. I'm going to replace that too, but we'll do that after we get this off. Try to be careful with this hose. It's a special hose. Each end is a different size, and if you have to replace it, it's kind of expensive. So I'm going to try and do this without breaking it. Okay. Same thing with this one. Okay. These nuts that hold down the valve cover via the spark plug tubes require a 30mm socket. There they are. This one was a little bit loose. It might have been part of my problem. But I want to replace the gasket anyway. I'm going to take these off. These are the seals that go underneath the nuts. If they're leaking, you could replace them. Mine are not leaking, so I'm going to reuse them. Here's the old gasket. It's not the kind that I like. I'll show you the difference. This is the kind I like. Instead of being flat, it has one, the way it sits, this is kind of a curved surface, and so I think it kind of crushes this down better to make a good seal rather than this flat stuff. So I need to remove this one leaking spark plug tube, and to do that I'm going to double nut the top of it. Just tightening this top nut against that one a little bit. So now let's see if we can unscrew this. I just need to put some sealant around here, put it back. I'm using this to retrieve the rest of the spark plug wire. Try not to drop it down into the engine. There it is. I'm using brake clean to clean it. Cleaning out the spark plug hole too. Quite a bit of oil in there. And everywhere. I like using brake clean for something like this because it's not too hard on the rubber parts, unlike carburetor cleaner just destroys them. Okay. Before I put this on, I'm going to put a little gasket sealer on the threads. My arrangement here was slipping a little bit, so I'm going to tighten up a little bit. Okay. Okay, I'm just making this snug. I put the sealer on it. Should be okay. Okay. There's a little bit of residual gasket. Just scraping it off level. Now I'll just wipe the entire surface off with a rag. Actually, before I put it back together, I'm going to take the PCV valve out. Oops. The grommet is really hardened, and so it's hard to get out. You can see the grommet came out in chunks. That's why I want to do this without it being in the car. Okay, so here's the new grommet. Much more flexible. Just pushes right in. Now the new PCV valve. These can't be tested, and they become clogged or the calibration is off. It's better just to replace them. Okay, now the hose. Alrighty, I'm going to set this upside down. Be careful not to break this when you set it upside down. This just kind of pushes down in the groove. This will be a much better seal than that flat surface. Before I put this back together, I'm just going to put a little bit of sealant on these corners. And there are a couple of joints right here where these plugs go next to the camshaft. Put some sealant there just for good measure. I don't know that it's actually needed. I'm just going to lift it up and put my fingers under it a little bit to make sure that the gasket's in place. Yes, everything's good. I can see it over here. Okay. Put this tube back on, rubber tube. Put these clamps back into place. Wheels. And the nuts. I'm going to tighten these from the center out. Just kind of evenly. I'll go back and forth a little bit snugger each time. It wouldn't hurt to check these in a week or two. Okay, not too tight and evenly across. Now this other hose, luckily these hoses weren't brittle and didn't break. I'm going to put this back together now. Okay, that's a little loose. A little loose, so I'm going to put some glue in here. Okay. This wire goes back over here, and now I'm just going to tighten up this bolt back where it was. Okay, we're finished.